Hello, aspirants. Today we are starting a new topic that is binary logic. And if we talk about binary logic, it is one of the most easiest topic of logical reasoning. Now, what binary logic basically is, it deals with statements. For example, let's say I have asked a question to three people, A, B, and C. Let's say my question is, which profession do you belong to? Or else, what is your native place? So what will happen is these three people will answer this question in a certain pattern. But before that, one thing is very important here, that whatever their reply will be, whatever their answer will be in equal numbers. If A gives two reply, then B will also give two reply and C will also give two reply. So number of answers given by each of them will be in equal numbers. So what will they do? They will answer to this question back and they will answer in a certain pattern. So what will happen is I'll have to identify first. Let's say they have answered two replies. They have given two replies. So what I have to do is I have to identify which of the following reply of each person is true or false. So basically binary deals with statements that are true and false in nature. Now what happens? I have figured out which statement is true, which statement is false. Now what will happen is in certain people's statement, I will find all the statement as true. All the statement, be it two statements, be it three statements, be it four statements, all the statements are true. That person is called truth tellers. In certain person's pattern, we'll see all the statements as false. He's lying in each of his statement. That is called, they are called liars. And in certain people, you'll find a pattern of true and false both, but they will follow a pattern. They will follow a pattern. Like if first statement is true, then their second statement is false, third is true. If first is false, then second is true, third is false. So these kind of people are called alternators. They will alternate the pattern between true and false. Now there can be a fourth category also, fourth type of category also, but that comes in a very rare case when the number of people, like here we have three people, but when the number of people can be four or five or six, this pattern is called random because they do not follow any particular pattern. If their first statement is true, their second statement will also be true, third will be false. First is true, second will be false, third will also be false. If first is false, second will be true, third will be true. If first is false, second is also false, and third is true. So these are basically four categories of random because they are not truth tellers, they are not liars, and they do not alternate between true and false. Now, the most frequently asked question in binary logic is when they do not give you any specific condition. For example, there is a question, three friends A, B, and C belong to a different sports, cricket, football, and hockey. Not necessarily in that order. It was known that one of them is a truth teller, one is a liar, and the third is an alternator. Now, whenever I will solve this question, or whenever we try to solve this question, one thing is very important, that whatever condition given, what the number of categories mentioned here, our answer should also come as follows. If there is one truth teller, one liar, and one alternator, our end result should also be with one truth teller, one liar, and one alternator. It should not be like one truth teller, two liars, or one liar, two alternators. The given specific number of categories should always be followed. Now, one more important thing here is that it is not necessary that they will give you only one truth teller, liar, and alternator. There can be a different pattern also. They can ask you that each of them is an alternator, or they will give you a condition that there is one liar and two truth tellers, or there is no truth teller, and each statement, each one has at least one statement as true. So we have to read the conditions given very specifically. Now the question here asks is which sports they belong to. A, B, and C, each of them have given two replies. For A, he says C is a cricketer, I play football. B, he says I am a hockey player, C is a cricket player. And C says I am a footballer, B plays hockey. Now here what we'll do is we'll assume one person as truth teller. Now if we assume him as a truth teller, for example, let's assume A as truth teller, his both statement will be true in nature, and from that we can find out certain details. We'll get a base here, and through that base we'll anticipate B's and C's statement. Like if A says C is a cricketer and I play football, and if we assume that A is a truth teller, that means both the statements are true. C is a cricketer and I play football. That means A will be a footballer. Now B, only one game left is hockey. So B will be a hockey player. Now through this, we will check B and C statement. B says I'm a hockey player, which will be true. C is a cricket player, which will again be true. Now here there is a contradiction because there was only one truth teller, and here you have two truth tellers. That means the person you have assumed as truth teller is wrong. So what we'll do is we'll assume some another person. Now next person we'll assume is C, because when we assumed A as truth teller, the contradiction came from B. And if we assume B as truth teller, the contradiction will come from A. So it's a contradiction of vice versa. Now if C says I am a footballer and he's a truth teller, C will play football. B plays hockey, so B will play hockey. That means A will play cricket. From B statement, we can see B says I am a hockey player, which will be true. C is a cricket player, which will be false. Now we have a truth teller and we also have an alternator. Now A has to be liar, then only a statement or question is correct. Now A says C is a cricketer, false because he is a cricket player. I play football, this will again be false. So here there is no contradiction, and this is the exact way to solve this type of question because there is no sub condition given regarding any of them. So what we will have to do is we have to assume a truth teller. The statement of that truth teller will be a base for us, and through that we'll find other people's statement. Now coming to the other question, as I said earlier, that the most frequently asked question is when you do not have any sub conditions. But when you have sub conditions, things become very easy. For example, this question: four friends had graduated in different fields, that is MBA, LLB, MBBS, and MS. Each of them have a passion for exactly one among dance, singing, acting, and choreography. When asked about the passion and graduation, following were the replies. Now, when subcondition comes, when the question has multiple attributes, like here we have graduation, we have passion, and if we see statements, we have to find their age also. So we have four people: Anil, Sunil, Sumit, and Amit. We'll write down first. Now, the second thing we'll check is the categories, the number of categories. Last, it says it was known that two of them speak true, false, and true, and the rest false, true, false. That means each of them is an alternator, but there are two types of alternators. Two will be speaking true, false, true, and the other two will be speaking false, true, false. Also, Anil is an MBA graduate. So we know that Anil is an MBA graduate. Now let's check the statement where MBA term is used, because that statement will definitely be true or false. Like Sunil's second statement says Anil is an MBA graduate. That means that statement is true. Now if second statement is true, first and third statement will be false. Again, Sumit's first statement says about MBA, that is Sunil has pursued MBA. That is false. If first statement is false, second will be true, third will be false. Now we have two people with false, true, false. The rest two will speak true, false, true. Now we have done with the statements which are true and which are false. Now we'll start with true statements because they will definitely give certain attributes. Anil's first statement says Sunil is the second oldest. So we have to find again age also. So we'll denote 1, 2, 3, and 4, where 1 will be the oldest, 4 will be the youngest. Now first statement of Anil is true, which says Sunil is the second oldest. Sunil will be on second position. Third statement says Sumit is a singer. Fine, Sumit is a singer. Sunil's second statement says Anil has pursued MBA. That is fine. We have done that. Sumit second statement says Amit is an actor. So Amit is an actor. Now Amit's first statement says Sunil is a dancer. Sunil is a dancer. Now if we have Sunil as a dancer, Sumit as singer, and Amit as actor, that means Anil will be a choreographer. And third statement of Anil says Sumit has pursued LLB. So Sumit has pursued LLB. Now we have figured out half attributes through true statements. Now the rest of the attributes will be coming from the false statement. But before that, one more important thing in binary logic is whenever you have a statement which says not, for example, I am not a singer, I am not a dancer, I am not a cricketer. And if that statement is false, then the nature of that sentence will be true. For example, if I say I am not a singer, and if that statement is false, that means I am definitely a singer. Fine. So, not statement, and if it is false, that means that statement, that sentence will be true. For example, we'll cross check here. Anil is not a choreographer. According to Sumit's third statement, Anil is not a choreographer, which says false. Sumit's third statement says Anil is not a choreographer, which is false. And if we see, Anil is a choreographer. That means not statement and false. That statement will be true. So we'll apply this in other statement also. Anil is not the youngest, and that statement is false. That means Anil is the youngest. Again, we have Sumit is not the oldest, not statement, and that statement is false. That means Sumit will be the oldest. So we have figured out the age of each of the four-person. So the third or the second youngest will be Amit. Now regarding the 2 degrees, which is MBBS and MS, the second statement of Anil says Amit has pursued MBBS, which is false. That means Amit has not done MBBS. Sunil has done MBBS and Amit has done MS. So this is the question where we can find out through certain sub conditions when there are multiple attributes. Now there are certain specific statements which if either comes in the question can give you a direct solution. For example, let's say if I say I am a liar. Now the term says I am a liar. Now if you look this statement, I am a liar, and if you find this kind of statement in the question, you can directly come to a conclusion that this statement is false and the person who's giving this statement is an alternator, because this statement can either be true or false. Now, if it is true, then I am a liar statement will be true and that person will be a liar. And how come a liar can say a true statement? That means it contradicts. The statement cannot be true. Now, the statement is false. Now, if I am a liar is a false statement, that means that person is not a liar. And that person, if he's not liar, he cannot also be a truth teller because that statement he has said is a false statement. That means the third thing he can be is an alternator, or else he can be a random also if given. So whenever there is a statement I am a liar, the statement will be false and that person will be either an alternator or a random if the condition is given. Next statement, I am not a truth teller. Now this statement can also be a true statement or false statement, but again as I said, not and false statement, that means the statement will be true. So I am not a truth teller. If that statement is false, that means he will become a truth teller. But how can a truth teller say a false statement? That means that statement is true. So I am not a truth teller is true. That means he's not a truth teller. He cannot be a liar because that statement is given, particular statement is true. So he will be an alternator or an random if condition is given. So here there is a question. Three friends, Ed and Eddie, went to a grocery shop to purchase exactly one product among fish, vegetable, and eggs. None of them purchased the same product. When returning back to their home, their common neighbor, Mr. X, asked them, What grocery have you three purchased? Each of them give two reply to this question. Now Mr. X knew that one among them is a truth teller, one is a liar, and one is an alternator. And we have certain questions: who bought vegetable, who is a truth teller, who is an alternator. Now here I can directly say that I am not a truth teller. So this statement can never be false, it will be true. So if second statement is true and he is not a truth teller, that means his first statement will be false. He is an alternator. Now his first statement says I did not purchase egg. So that statement starts with not, and it's a false statement. That means he purchased eggs. Now if he has purchased eggs, this means Ed first statement says Eddie purchased X, which will be false. And if this statement is false, his second statement will also be false, because then there is only a liar left. And if first statement is false, then that person will be a liar. Now, if he is a liar, I purchased fish will be false. He did not purchase fish. Eddie purchased fish, and Ed purchased vegetables. Now, coming to Eddie's statement, I purchase fish, that will be a true statement. Ed is not a truth teller, that is again a true statement, so he will be a truth teller. So it becomes very easy when these two type of statements are there in the question. I am a liar, or else I am not a truth teller. Now we can answer the question: who bought vegetable? That is Ed. Who is a truth teller? That is Eddie. And who is an alternator? That is Ed. So this is what binary logic is all about. Now to have more practice, you can find lot of material in the search engine option, or if you want material through our website, you can write to us. We'll try to provide you as much as we can. Thank you. And our next topic will be on games and tournaments.